Welcome to Tabor Explains It All. In this episode, I'm going to be discussing a specific module to the Sentry Gun Scorestreak, the Rippable Directed Energy Turret. Even if you think you know everything there is to know about this streak already, stick around as you may just be surprised. The remote turret itself is a very diverse Scorestreak. It can be manually controlled, it can be computer controlled, or you can rip the head of the turret off in 3 different ways. That's basically 5 Scorestreaks in one. Now personally, I used to enjoy running the Sentry Gun with the Sentry module and the 360 rotation module. It could get me quite a few kills. However, for some unknown reason, the remote turret was nerfed. It used to take 3 melee punches to destroy. With the nerf, it now only takes 1 melee and then it's destroyed. Thus, the Sentry and the 360 head modules are near useless since they are taken out way too easily. So that's where the Rippable module comes in particular, the Directed Energy Rippable turret. Of course, you can also rip the normal turret head off, or add the rockets and rip those off. But today I'm only going to be covering the laser. Did I mention that the remote turret has a support module? This gives you 1 guaranteed sentry every match, and likely several if you're an average to above average player. This is the only directly lethal Scorestreak that can use the support module. So let's first discuss the damage on the Rippable Directed Energy turret. It must be noted that since this is a laser weapon, instead of shooting actual bullets, it has a constant hit scan going on, which scans once per frame. Now this is tough to explain, but think of it as shooting 1 bullet per frame, or 1 little bit of damage per frame. It shoots extremely fast. It has a fire rate of 3,600 RPM, which is absolutely unheard of. That's almost triple the fire rate of the fastest SMG in the game. So while the numbers I'm about to give seem low, just keep in mind that since it's a constant scan, it's going to kill amazingly fast. So with that said, the Rippable Directed Energy Turret deals 12 to 10 damage, depending on range. Its minimum damage is 9, but its medium range end is so high that you'll never deal your minimum damage anyway. Its maximum damage range is very long at 1,000 units, which is 350 units longer than the AE4's 3-shot range. Trust me, it's very, very long. So with a damage profile of 12, 10, 9, or essentially only 12, 10, let me give you a comparison. The strongest EM1 variant is the Poner, and that has a damage profile of 6, 6, 5. So this directed energy turret has literally double the damage as the Poner and fires at the exact same fire rate. Not only this, like the EM1, it has the best hipfire capabilities in the entire game. The hipfire spread is extremely tight, which makes it very easy to hipfire and track people. So the too long didn't read version of all this technical jargon is that the Scorestreak is pretty damn powerful. It's capable of producing the fastest time to kill in the entire game, and thus is possibly the most powerful weapon in the entire game. So with all of that said, why is it you rarely see anyone using this module? To be honest, I'm not quite certain. Perhaps no one realizes its true potential. This weapon reminds me of Gohan from Dragon Ball Z. Everyone always looked at him as just a weak, half-breed kid, when in actuality, however, he had a hidden energy that made him, at one point, the strongest character on the entire show. The directed energy weapon is my secret Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, so allow me to reveal all its hidden potential to you. I'm surprised at how many people don't realize the obvious. For example, when you use the Rippable module on the Sentry Gun, it persists through death. This is the same as the Death or War Machine from Black Ops 2. I guess most people just assume that once you die, you'd lose it. This, of course, is false. Even if you die, you can simply pull the ripped turret head back out. It'll last until all the ammo is used up. Speaking of ammo, since it's a laser, it comes with a unique ammo count. Instead of showing bullets, it shows a percentage. This has a range from 0% to 100%. I've read that if someone destroys the Sentry Gun base after you rip the turret off, you'll lose the ripped head, but this is false. I don't even think it's possible to destroy a ripped turret base. I've seen the Sentry Gun base just disappear before, and I've never lost the ripped off head when this happens. The ripped turret head will also persist between round-based games, which is extremely nice. If you end a round with it, you'll have it when the next round begins. I've also had several people ask me how you even rip the turret head off. So once you place the Sentry Gun down, you have to go directly behind it, as if you're going to grab it and shoot it yourself. If you're to the front or the sides of it, the prompt will not be there. So once you are directly behind it, it'll say to double tap the square on the PS4 to rip off the turret head. The first thing you'll notice is the insanely slow pull-up speed. This sucker is obviously heavy, so this is justifiable. But did you know that this unnecessarily slow animation is actually skippable? As soon as you begin to pull out the turret head, simply boost forward and it cancels the animation. It's very easy to accomplish, and once you get the hang of it, it'll be like second nature to you. Next, ADS versus non-ADS. Like I mentioned earlier, it has the best hipfire in the entire game, so hipfiring is the preferred fire method. However, you can ADS with it. Since you do have limited ammo, I've found that you kill the fastest and expend the least amount of ammo by tap firing the laser. If you spray with this weapon, even in the slightest, the recoil goes nuts and you lose a large portion of your ammo. Seriously, look at this recoil pattern. This is unadjusted free fire. It makes a mother trucking candy cane recoil pattern. Do not hold down the trigger with this weapon. This next point is important. Danger close does not affect the rippable laser turret. In fact, it doesn't affect the rippable normal Sentry Gun turret. The only thing it affects on the Sentry Gun is the rocket module. Now, some of you may try to argue with me on this, but trust me, it's a fact. The game code was looked at and deciphered. The rippable turret head functions a little strange when you get system hacked. If you're system hacked, you obviously cannot use it, even with the hardwired perk. You have to wait until after the system hack is over. However, if you already have the rip turret head out before the system hack gets called in, and then you get hit by one, you're still able to use it throughout the system hack until you die. So one annoying aspect is that the rippable turret head takes up a care package Scorestreak spot. What I mean by this is that it gets put above your other Scorestreaks in the bottom right of your screen. Now, I say this is annoying because if you're running the care package and get something out of it while you currently have the rippable turret head, you cannot call in your turret until you use whatever you got out of the care package. For this reason, I don't recommend running both the rippable turret head and the care package at the same time. And now, my favorite tip. Remember when I said no one runs this streak? This is probably why. Most people associate the rippable turret head with slowness. It pulls out slow, it puts away slow, and it makes you run slow. However, did you know that the speed at which you run with the rip turret head is based on whatever weapon you have when you call it in? Let me show you some quick tests to back up my claims here. So I've staged a few races here with a timer to record our speed. All of these tests include the lightweight perk, by the way. So first, we'll try with a heavy weapon. While holding the EM1, I call in the ripped turret head. So based on what I said, this will make us run at LMG speed. The total time was 6.24 seconds. Next, we'll try the SMG. Again, I call in the turret head while holding the ASM1. Then I do the race just as before. 5.10 seconds. This is a noticeable decrease in time. Now we'll try calling it in using the knife and running the exact same race. 4.29 seconds. So as you can see, we went from LMG speed of 6.24 seconds to SMG speed of 5.10 seconds, and finally to a knife speed of 4.29 seconds. With this knowledge and the fact that it has the fastest time to kill in the entire game, you can see how this weapon can be quite powerful. But I'm not done yet. There's more. Before I go on, let's do a quick class setup so I can reveal even more of its hidden potential. So we now know this weapon can be both fast and powerful. We also know that it has the best hipfire capabilities in the entire game. So, what does this tell us we should be using for a class setup? The answer, of course, is the SAC-3s. The SAC-3 is one of the few weapons that you should always use the Tier 2 perk Gung Ho on. Since the rippable turret head has such amazing hipfire, you want to always make sure you use it on a class with the Gung Ho perk. Naturally, the SAC-3s fit this bill nicely. But there's another reason why I suggest the SAC-3s. If you happen to have any SAC-3 variant that increases mobility, you're in luck. In particular, the Blood and Glory Elite variant. It has +2 to mobility. For all other SMGs, the mobility stat is actually ADS time. However, since the SAC-3s cannot ADS, the mobility stat is just that, speed. Thus, the Blood and Glory SAC-3 is the fastest weapon in the game. It allows you to move around with 104% movement speed. So with speed in mind, you'll want to add the lightweight perk as well as overcharged. Lightweight increases your movement speed by 7%. I recommended the overcharged perk because you'll also want the EXO ability Overclock. Overclock increases your movement speed by 12%. So naturally, you'll want the overcharged perk to make it last longer. Now add in the remote turret Scorestreak with the support, rippable, and directed energy modules. Everything else is up to you. I like to run 3 attachments, Scavenger, and 1 more Scorestreak. So with this setup, the Blood and Glory variant offers 104% movement speed, plus the 7% from lightweight, and the 12% from overclock. As a grand total, you now have the fastest class in the entire game with a movement speed of 123%. Of course, that's only while overclock is active. Without overclock, it would be 111%. So do you see where I'm going with this? Let's go back to my time trial and see where the Speedy Gonzalez class puts us. Remember, the knife speed was 4.29 seconds, and that was with lightweight too. So with the Blood and Glory variant, lightweight, and overclocked, you hit a maximum speed of 4.16 seconds. This is the fastest possible achievable speed using the ripped turret head. A few more things to note. If you don't like the SAC 3s or you can't find yourself doing well with them, make the class anyway, but run the remote turret Scorestreak on your tryhard class. Once you earn the Scorestreak, simply swap to the SAC 3 speed class and then call it in. Lastly, the rippable turret isn't just a killing machine, it's also a Scorestreak killing machine. If you find yourself getting ripped to shreds by bombing runs or warbirds or even constant UAV spam, rest assured that the directed energy turret is capable of destroying all of these with relative ease. If no one on your team is doing anti-air support and you yourself don't have a stinger on hand, use the turret head. It'll usually take 30 to 60% of your ammo depending on your accuracy, but it disposes all of these streaks incredibly fast, which of course could save your team from certain defeat. Unlike the plus 25 points you get for a normal kill with this turret head, you get the full points for destroying streaks. So a double bombing run, for example, will get you plus 300 points. And that, as they say, is that. I've had many people call me a hacker when using this streak, seemingly because the reality is not entirely obvious. Since this Scorestreak is rarely used, most people don't recognize the brightly colored laser or the kill feed indicator. If you combine the remote turret streak with the rippable and directed energy modules, you can have a high capacity, speedy fire rate laser beam that persists through death. The beam has the fastest time to kill in the entire game and can kill in 2 to 3 taps and will last very long if used in this manner. My personal best is 40 kills in a single match with this streak. It not only blinds your enemies with pretty colors, but it rips them apart if tap fired. The streak will only cost a mere 750 points. But if that's too much to earn on your own, it's the only lethal Scorestreak in the entire game that allows the support module to be put on, essentially guaranteeing you to earn this at least once a match. I encourage each of you to try this often overlooked Scorestreak out. You may just unlock its hidden potential.